Virtual rallies, Union Home Minister Amit Shah to address West Bengal Jan Samvad rally and apprise them of achievements of Narendra Modi government in first year of the second term. Today is last date for filing nominations for Rajya Sabha elections. Elections to fill 24 vacant seats to be held on the 19th of June. Highest ever government allocation of 1,01,500 crore rupees under Manrega during financial year 2020-21. Work offers to 6 crore 69 lakh persons so far in this financial year. Focus on works for water conservation, irrigation, plantation, horticulture and individual beneficiary for livelihood promotion. LG overrules Delhi government's order to reserve Delhi hospitals for its residents only. Directs authorities to ensure that medical treatment is not denied to any patient on the grounds of not being a resident of Delhi. Also directs that ICMR's strategy of testing asymptomatic, direct and high-risk contacts of positive cases be strictly observed in Delhi. One lakh 29,214 COVID-19 patients cured and discharged in the country. 7,466 fatalities. Total number of active cases is now 1,29,917. WHO chief warns coronavirus pandemic is worsening globally. Urges countries to press on with efforts to contain the virus. Over 71 lakh thousand people worldwide infected by the virus. Deaths surpass 4 lakh. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukmana. Top story. On the third day of the nationwide BJP virtual rally, the party's senior leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah is scheduled to address West Bengal Jan Samvad rally via video conference shortly. The Home Minister will reach out to the people and tell them of the achievements of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government in its first year in the second term. This is the third virtual rally that the minister is holding via video conferencing. Earlier, he addressed the people of Bihar and Odisha virtually. The BJP senior leaders continue to hold rallies nationwide virtually to remain connected with the people of the country due to social distancing measures in place. And today is the last date for filing nominations for elections to 24 seats of the Rajya Sabha. Elections will be held on the 19th of June for 24 vacant seats and including 18 where polling was deferred earlier due to the lockdown and 6 seats falling vacant in June and July. The Election Commission has decided to go ahead with elections to 4 Rajya Sabha seats, each from Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat and Karnataka, 3 from Rajasthan, 3 from Madhya Pradesh, 2 from Jharkhand and 1 seat each from Manipur, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram. On Friday, the voting time has been kept between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. The results will be announced on the same day. The poll panel has asked the chief secretaries concerned to depute a senior officer from the state to ensure that the instructions regarding COVID-19 containment measures are complied with while making arrangements for the elections. This would involve observing of social distancing during the voting process. And Rishi joins us live for more. Well, Rishi, elections to 24 seats that are lying vacant in the Rajya Sabha to be held. The date has been fixed. Clearly, India in all aspects moving forward after that lockdown. And well, what kind of a contest, as we asked you earlier, what kind of a contest is on the cards?
देखिए, जहां तक इस राज्यसभा के चुनाव की बात करें तो शुरुआत 55 सीटों से हुई थी, जिसमें से 37 सीट्स पर जो बिना किसी विरोध के निर्विरोध चुनाव संपन्न हो चुका, वो ऐतिहासिक जीत के आ चुके हैं। बाकी की जो 18 सीटें बची हैं और उसके बाद चुनाव आयोग ने कोशिश की कि इन 18 सीटों को जो चुनाव जो कि होने थे मार्च के महीने में, उसके बाद कोविड-19 के पैंडेमिक सिचुएशन के चलते इसको आगे बढ़ाया गया। एक बार फिर से जब स्थिति का रिव्यू किया गया, फिर ये चुनाव नहीं हो पाए तो आगे बढ़ाया गया। बात जब आगे बढ़ती गई तो उसके बाद 6 सीटें और इसमें शामिल हुई, जिसमें कि जून और जुलाई की जो सीटें हैं, जिसमें 6 सीटें और शामिल होने के बाद अब ये टोटल 24 सीटें हो गई। कुल मिलाकर इन 24 सीटों पर बात करें तो जो चुनाव होने हैं उसमें खासतौर से जो मुकाबला है, चाहे वो गुजरात की बात कर लें, राजस्थान की बात कर लें, मध्य प्रदेश की बात कर लें, इन सभी राज्यों से जो जिन जिन सीटों पर चुनाव होने हैं बेहद क्लोज कॉन्टेस्ट है और तमाम दिग्गज इन जगहों पर अपने अपने लिए जो आजमाइश है, जिसमें कुछ का आना करीब करीब तय है। जो हम जानते हैं कि राज्यसभा में जो विधानसभा में जो और विधान परिषद में जो सीटें होती है उसके आधार पर वोटिंग होती है, तो उस आधार पर यह भी तय हो जाता है कि किसकी कितनी राज्यसभा सीटें होंगी और किस पर क्लोज कॉन्टेस्ट होना है। उसी प्रक्रिया में अगर हम देखें, मध्य प्रदेश से ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया है, दिग्विजय सिंह है, इनका करीब करीब आना तय है और उसके अलावा एम वेणुगोपाल राज्यसभा से अपना कॉन्टेस्ट करना चाह रहे हैं। तो इसके अलावा जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात है, जो अब तक के इन 24 सीटों में जो कर्नाटक जब इसमें शामिल हुआ तो 4 सीटें वहां पर है। 4 में से एक सीट पर एच.डी. देवगौड़ा जो कि पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री हैं, वो भी अब चुनाव लड़ने की सहमति व्यक्त कर चुके हैं और उनके पुत्र जो कि कर्नाटक के भूतपूर्व मुख्यमंत्री, उन्होंने भी ट्वीट करके बताया कि एच.डी. देवगौड़ा जो पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री है, चुनाव लड़ना चाहते हैं, कांग्रेस उनको बैक कर रही है। ऐसी स्थिति में जो कांग्रेस में जो कम के सपोर्ट से जब एच.डी. देवगौड़ा संसद में राज्यसभा में पहुंचेंगे, इसके अलावा तमाम दिग्गज जो पहले से ही जीत के पहुंच चुके हैं, चाहे वो अगर हम बात करें शरद पवार की या रामदास अठावले की बात करें, हरिवंश जी जो कि उपसभा के राज्यसभा के सभापति हैं, वो पहले ही जीत के आ चुके हैं। तमाम नए चेहरे भी हैं, चाहे वो केटीएस तुलसी हो या फिर प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी हो, जो कि नए चेहरों के रूप में हमेशा देखे जाते रहे थे और प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी ने तो कांग्रेस छोड़ने के बाद, एनसीपी ज्वाइन करने के बाद ये बड़ी सफलता हासिल की कि वो राज्यसभा में चुनकर आई। तो राज्यसभा में एक तरीके से जो सत्ता पक्ष है, यानी कि ट्रेजरी बेंचेस है, उनकी स्थिति मजबूत होगी, उनके एलाइज की जो संख्या बढ़ेगी और उनकी संख्या बढ़ेगी। लेकिन ऐसी कोई डिसाइसिव स्थिति नहीं होने जा रही है कि एनडीए जो चाहे तो उसको एक तरीके से, खासतौर से बीजेपी अगर चाहे तो अकेले के दम पर अपनी तमाम बिल को पास करा, उसे एनडीए की जरूरत होगी और आज भी वो आसानी से तमाम बिल राज्यसभा से पारित करा चुके हैं। ऐसे ऐसे क्रूशियल बिल पारित हो चुके हैं जिनकी की कभी उम्मीद भी नहीं की जाती थी। तो कुल मिलाकर जो ट्रेजरी बेंचेस है उनके लिए थोड़ी सहूलियत बढ़ेगी, लेकिन जो सियासत है राज्यसभा में, उसमें जब बड़े बड़े दिग्गज पहुंचेंगे, चाहे वो ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया हो, ये इस ऐसे नाम जो कि कभी इस पाले में थे या उस पाले में, ऐसी स्थिति जब आती है तो थोड़ा सा दिलचस्प होता है, खासतौर से राज्यसभा डिबेट के दौरान, वोटिंग के दौरान। और जो सियासत है हाउस के अंदर, वो भी एक नए रूप में दिखाई देती है। तो ये चुनाव बेहद दिलचस्प है। खासतौर से आपने कहा कि कोविड के बाद जो हम अनलॉक कर रहे हैं देश को, जो हम अब आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं, सामान्य स्थिति की ओर बढ़ना चाहते हैं, उसमें ये चुनाव एक बड़ा हमारी सफलता है। और हम इन चुनावों को संपन्न कराने के लिए चुनाव आयोग ने भी जो तमाम राज्यों के मुख्य सचिव हैं उनको पत्र लिखा है कि कोविड-19 के जो इम्पैक्ट है या उसके लिए जो गाइडलाइंस है उनका पालन हर हालत में होना चाहिए। उसके लिए आप एक अधिकारी को नियुक्त कर सकते हैं और इस मामले में सभी तैयारियां पूरी की जा रही हैं। और हम जानते हैं कि आज के बाद, जबकि नामांकन आपके आखिरी तारीख के बाद, स्थिति भी स्पष्ट हो जाएगी कि कौन कौन से दिग्गज चुनावी मैदान में है, कौन अपना नाम विड्रॉ कर रहा है। तो ये जो स्थिति है, जबकि हम लॉकडाउन के बाद जो अनलॉक इंडिया कर रहे हैं, उसमें चुनाव ये जो होने जा रहे हैं, हालांकि हमने देखा था कि महाराष्ट्र में भी एमएलसी के चुनाव बीच में हुए थे, लेकिन उसमें उतनी बड़ी संख्या में वोटिंग उस तरीके की स्थिति नहीं थी। लेकिन इन चुनावों में जरूर बड़ी संख्या में वोटिंग और जो प्रक्रिया है, जो प्रोसेस है, वो आगे बढ़ती है। तो ये चुनाव आयोग की जो तमाम तैयारियां हैं, उसके आधार पर 19 तारीख को ये चुनाव होने हैं और उसी दिन परिणाम भी आने हैं। पूरी प्रोसेस को चुनाव आयोग, जैसे कि हम जानते हैं, 22 तारीख को संपन्न करने को कहा है। जी।
Right, Rishi, thank you so much for outlining that entire process, the kind of contests, you know, the emergence of very interesting names there, from prominent leaders to a lot of new faces, as well as the efforts and the success of the Election Commission in being able to organize this election, to announce this election finally. Thank you so much for joining us. Moving on now, a highest ever allocation of 1,01,500 crore rupees has been made under the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme during financial year 2020 to 2021. A sum of 31,493 crore rupees has already been released. Work has been offered to 6 crore 69 lakh persons so far in this financial year. Average number of persons to whom work was offered in May 2020 is 2 crore 51 lakh per day, which is 73% higher than the work offered in May last year. A total 10 lakh works have been completed so far during 2020 to 21. Focus is on works related to water conservation and irrigation, plantation, horticulture and individual beneficiary works for livelihood promotion. Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar has said that budget allocation under Manrega has been increased. He added that this is the reason that 5 crore jobs have been created through Manrega till now. He also said that under the direct benefit transfer, money is being successfully transferred to the beneficiaries.
मनरेगा के बजट को भी बढ़ाया गया, मनरेगा में एसेट क्रिएशन को बल दिया और मनरेगा में जियो टैगिंग को भी लागू किया और डीबीटी के माध्यम से पेमेंट हो, यह भी सुनिश्चित करने का काम मनरेगा के माध्यम से हुआ। मैं आपके ध्यान में लाना चाहता हूं कि जब से मनरेगा प्रारंभ हुआ है तब से कुल मिला के 5 करोड़ मानव दिवस सृजित हुए हैं।
And the Supreme Court will pass order on PILs on the plight of migrant workers today. Earlier, the Apex Court took note of the submissions of the centre and the state governments. The court on Friday proposed to give 15 days more to the centre and the state governments to send home all migrant workers stuck across the country. During the course of hearing, Solicitor General informed the Supreme Court that in accordance with the guidelines, the Indian Railways had till the 3rd of June operated 4,228 trains and approximately 1 crore migrants had reached their destinations. 4,270 Shramik trains had been deployed for this purpose. Solicitor General told the Apex Court that letters were sent to Chief Secretaries of States concerned, asking how many workers still had to be shifted and how many trains were required for this. And joining us now is our correspondent Vikas Sarthi, who has to give us more updates. Vikas, very good morning to you. Well, the Apex Court likely, to give its order on, the plight of migrants on various PILs. Already the central government, has successfully been able, with the help of the railways, has successfully been able to transport majority of migrant workers. In fact, that task is almost complete. What are the main issues that the court will take up today?
Right, Rukma, the Supreme Court has just pronounced the order, and now the court has said that center and state should identify all those migrant workers who are still waiting for their turn to reach their homes. Still, there are some migrant workers want to reach to their respective destinations, and Supreme Court today directed that their registration and other facilities should be provided to them as early as possible. In fact, court has said that within 15 days, this exercise must be completed by the respective state governments. Apart from it, the court during the course of hearing, more or less, court was satisfied with the arrangements, but court said that we want to streamline this whole process so the registration can be done easily. And on the lines of those observations, the Supreme Court today said that central and state government must ensure that within 15 days now, from today, within 15 days, registrations and transportation of these migrant workers must be completed. Apart from it, court was also going through other issues as well, like the unemployment among these migrant workers. The Supreme Court also asked state governments to come with a policy, with a plan that how they are going to employ such those people who have lost their jobs because of this migration. The court is also passing directions on those aspects as well. Meanwhile, another important issue which Supreme Court has today said that if there has been any police complaint registered against those migrant workers, those police complaints must be withdrawn immediately. Uh, no criminal complaint against these migrant workers must be left. If there are any complaints against these people were registered, then those complaints should be withdrawn immediately. So court has passed a few directions also. Though earlier during the course of hearing, court said that whatever arrangements are being made seems adequate, but what court can do, it can streamline all this process, so people will not have to wait for their turn to take trains or special buses which are being arranged by the state governments. Today also court said that if the registration is done properly, then people will not have to wait for their turn. So court is passing those directions, and now the states and the center will ensure that within 15 days those directions must be implemented by all the stakeholders.
Right, and Vikas, does this also apply to the direction, to withdraw all complaints, whether criminal or otherwise, police complaints and so on against the migrants? Is the time period for that also 15 days, and how far does this go?
Well, court will take up this matter again, and by that time, the state governments or the state police authorities should withdraw those complaints. The court has given its understanding very clearly to the states that those FIRs should not be proceeded further. So, if a complaint is registered against a migrant worker because he was moving from one place to other, those complaints, those FIRs or those police complaints must be withdrawn.
Right. Vikas, thank you so much for that detailed explanation and for those inputs. And now moving on, a day after Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal announced that COVID-19 treatment in hospitals in Delhi would be reserved only for Delhi residents, Lieutenant Governor of Delhi Anil Baijal intervened and overruled Kejriwal's decision. The LG took the decision in the capacity of Chairman of Delhi Disaster Management Authority. The LG also directed the Delhi government to strictly observe ICMR's testing guideline of testing asymptomatic direct and high-risk contacts of confirmed cases between 5th and 10th day of coming into contact, which the Delhi government had stopped, as per an order issued on the 2nd of June. And in Kerala, malls, restaurants and some places of worship opened today after 76 days of closure following the COVID-19 induced nationwide lockdown. All places open to the public were disinfected on Monday. The Kerala government has prescribed protocols to be followed at these places. With temples reopening today, several precautionary measures are in place, which including steps to ensure social distancing. At the famous Guruvayur temple, devotees will be regulated through online registration. Major mosques in the state, however, have decided not to reopen till further notice, as it was felt that the situation was not conducive. While some Christian denominations are planning to reopen churches from today by strictly adhering to the pandemic prevention protocol, most have decided to defer opening till this month end. And our correspondent Ajay Joy joins us on the phone line for more news from Kerala. And Ajay, well, Kerala has opened its places of worship today, as well as malls and shops, and as part of Unlock 1. What is the situation there? What are the steps that are in place? How is the process progressing?
Oh, yes. It's after a long period, almost 76 days after these places are getting opened. And general public is cautious, and they know that the pandemic is still in the air, and government has prescribed very tight norms. In fact, the norms from the central guidelines and the state are so strict. And these people, everyone should follow it. In fact, I was getting a feedback from our correspondents here that many of the restaurants, they are planning not to open right now, because they are
Right.
not yet prepared to adapt to the strict norms. So only those institutions who are ready to completely comply with will open right now. That's the situation. And about opening of the temple, that has become a little contentious issue in Kerala right now, because BJP and many other temple trust associations have moved against this decision to open temples, telling that the stakeholders were not consulted. And many temple trusts outside the purview of Devasam Board, they have decided not to open until the situation eases and until they are in a shape to stick together to the norms.
Right, right. Well, Kerala is one of the success stories as far as tackling COVID-19 is concerned. People there, have truly cooperated with the central guidelines, and it appears that, the state is proceeding cautiously even now.
Oh, yes, because even in the last press conference, CM had highlighted this particular aspect, that anytime it can come back. Although maybe the numbers may not be that huge compared to the compared to other states, but the threat is still there.
Right.
And as we know, even a single misstep regarding the lack of cautiousness will completely make the state vulnerable again. And absolutely, as you said, people in general are there also cautious enough. And it is reflected in the decision of many of the temple authorities and church authorities not to open, even when they are allowed to open.
Right, right. Thank you very much, Ajay, for joining us there and for those inputs. And in other news, Pakistani troops again violated the ceasefire, resorting to unprovoked and indiscriminate firing on Indian forward posts and civilian areas in the border district of Poonch today morning. Defense spokesperson told DD News earlier in the day that Pakistani troops started firing along the LOC in Mankot sector of Poonch district. Indian Army is retaliating befittingly. Last evening, Pakistani Army had also violated ceasefire and targeted civilian areas in Khari and Karmara area of Poonch district. Meanwhile, an IED was recovered by security forces during a road opening party checking at Ladura, Rafiabad on Baramulla-Handwara highway in North Kashmir. The bomb disposal squad was called in by forces. More details are awaited. And that's all we have for you in this edition of the news. News and updates continue on DD News and DD India. Namaskar.